Hi folks, we're back and this is Cutting Through the Matrix. We would try to make sense of this big, seemingly confused agenda. It's not confused at all. The whole idea is to overload you with so many different organizations that seem separate from each other but are actually working towards the same goal. As I say, it's always the same thing. And they obviously do have a central head at the top guiding it all, keeping it all coordinated. In fact, there are foundations out there that do nothing else but that, coordinating all the other foundations and NGOs across the world and talking to governments too, with their private meetings, which they're allowed to have. And that's what's really guiding your life. You're meant to think they're just competing parties all demanding different things, but it's not that at all. The outcome will be a very controlled, scientifically controlled society worldwide. And that's what it's about. If you went into the NAFTA agreement, it's the same as every other free trade agreement that's been signed in Europe and elsewhere, and all stemming from the great idea in Britain and from the British Empire, in fact, where they said they have the free flow of goods and services and labor across all borders. And of course that was taken up by other authors like Jacques Attali, who wrote about that too, and how there'd be a whole class that would be on the move across the world, and they will be the high bureaucrats in the age of world managers. We're in the age of world managers already. We don't have national governments anymore at all. And they're all on board together to get us going into communitarianism, as they'd like to call it, which is the supposed, and I mean supposed, decentralization of governments, where you live in your little community area. You'll have to grow your own food, basically, eventually. Anything extra you borrow, you'll have to have a representative going to the World Bank for loans, and then you'll all have to somehow pay those loans off. It's the global village idea, too. Same old thing. Many different terms for the same thing, and they like to change the terms just to keep you in the dark, which it does a good job of doing with most people. But that is the idea, is putting into communitarianism and volunteerism, as they call it in America. They don't want to use the term community. It's still got connotations of communism, you see. So they're using volunteerism for your area, your little area. It's all under the habitat idea, sustainability, and Agenda 21, if you want to find more about it and why it's rampaging ahead across the world at the same time. Last night someone asked me too about National Public Radio and how they get their funding and so on, and what are they really there for? Well, they're there to propagandize you. That's what anything that puts itself down as a charitable organization. It has an agenda to fulfill. We also have public broadcasting networks for television too, and we get the same ones in Canada that they do in the States, the same programs. And every so often they come out with these awful drives with their tin can rattling, and they don't even need that money. That's a show, folks. It's a show, because these guys are all founded or paid for and funded by the big foundations. And they do, as long as they put out the same stuff, which is propaganda for a form of socialistic world system where we all comply. It's meant to prepare your minds for compliance. That's how propaganda works. They don't just come out and say, be a new person tomorrow. They work on you until you're ready to be a new person tomorrow. Remember all these articles I've read to you about mind control groups being used by governments, and I've read some of them for you that officially work with different governments. And what they said is, if we can't change society, we'll change society to suit the government. If you can't change government to suit the people. So that's what they've done. They'll change you. Very old idea. Bernays knew all about it. And even, as I say, Gramsci and others knew about it long, long before Bernays came along. Very old understanding of the science of the manipulation of the mind of billions of people. It's been a very old science, obviously, kept by all governments of all kinds for thousands of years. And National Public Radio, as I say, is really supported by big foundations. I'll put up a bunch of them tonight. So it's only a handful, really, but out of the hundreds that fund them, with incredible amounts of money, by the way. And it says here, at the top, you've got John D. and Catherine MacArthur Foundation. They've been on the go since 1897 to 1978. Money from insurance and Florida real estate. the foundation fathered by son John R. MacArthur, the Pew Charitable Trusts, and the Pew Charitable Trust started by the sons and daughters of Joseph N. Pew, founder of Sunoco Oil, that's the oil company. For many years, founded primarily initially, they were into conservative organizations because they worked both sides of it. Now they're all liberal. The Annenberg Foundation, major funder of education and media programs, also established the Annenberg School for Communication and Journalism. That's to make sure they put out all the left-wingers out there that really are all socialists for world governments and so on. They're really, see, there's no sides really. It's all going towards the same system. Because you become, you put the information that's downloaded into you become that information. It works on you. Just like a virus in a computer. It works on you, prepares you for the next step. And you say, well, I guess it had to go this way. What else could they do? And, Walter H. Annenberg, publisher Nixon appointed as diplomat to the UK, where he was made honorary Knight of the Order of the British Empire, friend to Ronald Reagan, Prince Charles, Margaret Thatcher, and so on, and he created a TV guide. He also is part of the Annenberg Foundation. And of course, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. See, once you got to understand, these people don't come up by being self-made men. There's an order out there that picks you up, tells you what you're going to do and what you'll be. And you can stand in the limelight as a front man and take all the glory. And it's essential with Bill Gates, of course, they had to get one main system in across the whole world. It's far easier to monitor one system than a whole bunch of a variety of systems for the security agencies to make sure everything is formulated along the same track together and monitored and so on. That's what you've got the computer for. So, and once you get to a certain stage and all these billions have accumulated, the agreement is you have to donate X amount of bucks back into the group that basically pulled you up, like Neo getting pulled up off the pool of water once he was reborn. If you remember the first movie. You're to kick the money back, and that's why they do it. Not because they're charitable people, they're anything but charitable people. The Ford Foundation, which I think now is run by the Rockefeller Group as well, same board of directors. They also funded a major fund of education and media. The Ford Foundation contributes to NPR as well as other public media. Over the past 55 years, the foundation alone has invested more than $440 million in global public media. And then it's got the Beta.Ford Foundation. That's the actual link. I'll put these links up for you to have a look at. And the NPR financial statement too has got a PDF for that. I'll put that up as well. And the board of directors appointed by the President of the United States. I'll also put that one up as well, because you also have public taxpayer money going into it as well to make sure that America produces the right kind of people that the overlords want. That's what it's all about. So I never watch these things. It's so transparent to me when you start watching. A couple of minutes, you know exactly where they're, even shorter time, in fact, you know exactly where they're going and how they intend to twist your mind into one area or another.